Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm just getting this live stream going. We're going to do a real time reaction to the first episode of the Pretend podcast. And just from what a couple of other content creator counterparts of mine have said, it's going to be very infuriating. I had kind of some high hopes, or at least some hopes, that this would be something that doesn't toe Gypsy's narrative of the same old thing that we all know to be 100% false. So I'm likely not going to be very uh, humored by this podcast or whatever this is. I'm not sure if this guy's doing it for rage bait or just to get clicks. It kind of sounds like it's leaning in that direction. I had some hopes because I heard Audrey and some other, truthers got in on some of the interviews. So I kind of thought that maybe this would be something different and truth related, but yeah, I'm gonna just send out a couple more invites, and then we're gonna go ahead and get this one going. I have not seen it yet.
And Esperanza pointed out what document you need.
Yeah.
Kim,
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, let's send out a few more. All right. But anyways, how's everybody doing so far? Hope everyone's having a fantastic week so far. All right, I got some invites going, and I'm just gonna say hi to everybody first. Hello, happy wife, happy life. How you doing? Nice to see you. Okay, Ashes, you can come up. But basically, I'm gonna be spending most of this one just we're gonna be watching the Pretend podcast. Ash, have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't because I've been dealing with my son's school stuff
Excellent.
since yesterday, and then been calling them all day because they gave us the wrong schedule for him at school.
Yeah, gotta be fun. So yeah, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
going to be like yesterday. I did I think you came in kind of at the tail end. I was doing a live reaction to the jail phone calls. I've heard some of them. I've heard like the most pivotal points in them, but I wanted to hear from start to finish of the one where Gypsy is talking to Ken and basically doing the whole Shrek thing, like wanting him to burst into this, don't get married, I object, thing or whatever. It's just like
Oh, yeah, I
it's so
remember that.
cringe and pathetic. You should see all the different manipulative maneuvers that she was trying to do. It's like first, it's like she's just gonna kind of ignore it and see what he says, and then when he's not given the reception that she wants, she kind of ups the ante again, and was just like, it's just like things could change. You never know. Blah, blah, blah. And then when again she's not getting away, she's like, "This is your last chance." And then after that, it's just like, "Oh, please take me back." It's crazy. And so, yeah. Hey, Espo, good to see you, and it's all good. So what we're going to do, without any further ado, is we're going to go ahead and start this cringe fest. Maybe I could flip the, let me see, can I flip the screen? Or I might just have to turn it to the, whatever, let me see. I'll just turn it towards, can you see the TV okay?
Yeah. And
Okay,
I like
so,
the moon thing behind your head.
oh yeah, I like a lot of stuff that with like tarot cards and dream catchers and stuff like that. So that's
Right.
sort of the thing. I got a whole bunch of that. So
That's cool.
yep. I'm not an interior decorator by any means, but I do like to put stuff I believe in around the place. So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and start this cringe fest. Unfortunately, I was given a heads up that this is going to be infuriating. So,
Oh,
to no
yeah.
surprise, I had some hopes for this guy Javier that he was going to maybe go by the Foyas and just kind of lead her into thinking that this is going to be a pro gypsy sort of like situation. And then he just kind of hits her with the really hard questions and puts her again. It's just like I was hoping he would like, corner her with some of the things that she can't argue her way to. Hey, I put a whole series on debunking gypsy with her own words. He could have played some of that. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
can you explain this? It's just like you just gave 3 different stories to the same story. So it's just like, which one is it? You could just take one of those videos. I put up like 15 of them. And it's just like that right there would have like, exposed her like at least in that, in case anyone still thinks she's somehow telling the truth. It's like right there is just like, it's amazing watching people, even though I put up those, it's not like there's an opinion or narrative to it. It's not like there's something out of context. These are Gypsy's own words. Her own words. So it's just like, I guess, are you going to say Gypsy is wrong in her own words? It's not AI. It's not made up.
Right.
I'm glad I could save you from existential crises. at your workplace as. So again, I feel honored to be someone that can help you with that kind of thing. So if anybody else is having any external forces at bay that are, keeping you in some headspace that's completely making you go to a place you don't want to be and or some kind of abyss mentally, I'm hoping that this cringe fest will help you. I can't
Right.
promise it will though. So let's
Before you show it, though, you gotta have a filter if you're going to show the TV, so you don't get taken down.
a filter.
Yeah, because it can't be shown regularly.
What about, should I just do the sound? Would that be more wise?
Probably.
Okay, so okay, that's all we need to hear anyways. We don't need to see, Gypsy. I mean, we know unfortunately, what she looks like. She could do all the, it's funny that she's doing, what's she doing right now? Oh, unnecessary surgeries. Funny,
Yeah.
funny. You'd think someone that went through quote unnecessary surgeries would have some PTSD or trigger over this. Apparently, this is something that she's paying to do. Pretty amazing. But anyways, let's do a quick sound test.
Creative Babble. The Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
Is that too loud?
That's fine.
I might lower it just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm used to loud sounds, like it being loud in my house, so I'm like, it's fine.
So what I did yesterday, I was a little bit, I went over it. Even though my commentary was at least pretty decent, I kept talking kind of over the conversation just because I couldn't help myself. So if I'm going to do any commentary, I'm going to stop it so I could do the commentary so that way we can hear everything. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start running it now. This is, again, for everyone that's in here right now, I have not seen any of the Pretend podcast yet. So I am doing this in real time. It's going to be a real time reaction. I'm going to try to hold my composure the best I can. Wish me luck.
Victims we know of. The suspect is white, late 20s.
Female serial killer kills for power, control.
I believe there's a deeper motivation here.
You have no idea who you're dealing with, and you are going to end up dead.
I've been waiting for you.
Watch the Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for monthly subscribers. Terms apply.
I actually have no idea where we're going with this, but
I don't either. That's why I was like, I wanted to hop on a call with you.
There's Gypsy
because
voice.
I'm like, what is this about?
you really can't mistake that voice. Gypsy
No,
Rose
you can't.
Blanchard somehow became the most beloved convicted murderer in America. Half of the country loves her. The other half never forgave her. Maybe you...
Did this guy just really claim that half of the country loves her?
Yeah, he did, I guess.
That's pretty, I don't know where he got that misinformation, but no, she's overwhelmingly condemned, especially after these jail calls. But let's move
Young
on.
kids that don't know her might love her.
Yeah, and you've had a direct experience with that. But anyways,
Yeah.
all right, here we go.
Watch the HBO documentary, Mommy, Dead, and Dearest.
Looking at the open ocean now, and it's beautiful.
Gypsy was in a wheelchair. She had leukemia. She was having seizures, and she had to be tube fed.
True.
And then gradually, that story fell apart.
Things are not always as they appear.
Or maybe you discovered her story from the Hulu series, The Act.
All she wants to do is kiss
Or you could have binged her reality TV show on Lifetime.
I don't want people to look at you like this is Gypsy Rose. She's famous for
I don't
killing
care.
her mother. You shouldn't be famous for something like that.
Exactly.
Wow, Rod Blanchard, I actually agree with that. He's the one that says no one should be famous for unaliving their mother, yet he's got no problem accepting money for it, though. So
Right.
there's a little bit of that's a qualified statement if I've ever heard one, but let's keep going.
I hate that F word, famous.
Is she really saying that right now?
Yeah.
She hates the word famous. All she did in those jail calls was gloat about how much money she was making off this murder. And,
Trying to get a
I'm getting paid for
Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, I'm getting paid for this. When I get out of jail, I'm going to have a Mercedes-Benz. I'm going to be rich and I'm going to have my own home. You remember that phone call? I'm like, that's brazen. to basically say, "Yep, I cannot wait for that blood money. Let's
Right.
go." She didn't care where she had to sign to sell her soul. She was willing to do it the very second she got in there. And she bragged about it with Ken. She bragged about it with Christy. Christy was admitting to fraud charges to make sure that they can get, she said, top notch or top dollar, whatever she said. So in case, Gypsy Rose can't benefit from it because of, certain laws in place. She's like, oh, but just sell the rights over to me for $1 and I'll go ahead and funnel that money to myself. So I get that's called, that's embezzlement. That's called fraud. Good job. I'm glad that they know that these jail phone calls are recorded. It's like, it's astonishing that they know that. It's just like I'm not sure if anyone knows who Shayna Hubers is. If you don't know who she is, she's in Kentucky and she murdered her boyfriend on and off / boyfriend / ex-boyfriend, and he was going on a date with Miss Ohio 2012 that night. And she went to his apartment and unalived him. And even though she asked for a lawyer, she rambled and rambled and rambled for like 2 straight hours. In fact, the cops had to take turns like going in and out of the room because of how much they couldn't stand her. But again, here's one thing I say about the Constitution. The Constitution, protects you from self-incrimination. But what the Constitution cannot do is protect you from yourself. So,
Right.
And that's a clear example. But anyways, let's keep going.
Chances are you just kept seeing her face pop up on your For You page.
I went to prison for 8.5 years because my own mom.
Oh my god.
Or maybe you've been living under a rock and don't know who the heck I'm talking about. So here's the short version. Gypsy Rose Blanchard spent 23 years in a wheelchair, hooked up to a feeding tube, breathing machine.
She was not 23 years in a wheelchair. She didn't need it all the time. And again, I hope he talks about the microdeletion diagnosis because of the vast array of different symptoms and different side effects that it has. Not to mention Gypsy completely feigning, and she's been listed as malingering by doctors that pretending she couldn't walk when she could, and all the different attention-seeking behavior. Not just for her mom, but for the public at large. But let's see what else this says, because I don't want to talk too much during this. I want to get through this if I can.
Had her teeth yanked out, put under for surgeries that she never needed.
Okay, right there, misinformation immediately. If this guy read those medical records, then he would have, unless he's going to go in a different direction, these were not unnecessary surgeries. And even, let's pretend that's true. Where's a single lawsuit? Who sued the medical community on behalf of Gypsy Rose? No one. Because guess what? There's no one and no one to sue. And it would have been okay, as far as the teeth goes, and I've already done a video on this, it would have been abusive to keep those teeth in. Have you seen those freaking things? It would have,
because she could have got infection and everything.
Well, not only that, but it's because she wouldn't put down the baby bottle. And, it's like, she could have been doing that behind her mom's back, for all we know. Maybe she did try taking it away from her, but, you don't give Gypsy Rose her way. She's going to do it anyway. And, yeah, if she would have left those teeth in, that would have been abuse. It's like, she acts like she had perfectly nice, straight, beautiful, healthy teeth. It's like, are you serious? It's just like, she admitted like to all the sugar and soda and stuff that she was eating and drinking that basically rotted them out of her head. And then not to mention the baby bottle thing and everything else. It's like, we saw those teeth. They were not healthy teeth that were pulled. It's ridiculous. But let's keep going.
Yeah, I heard the first episode makes a lot of people mad.
All right, hold on. I'm just trying to get through some of this. We'll do commentary after we get through. So I just want to. I don't want to talk through it too much of this because otherwise we'll never get through it.
You name it. Turns out that was the cure because when police found her, she had walked out of the house on her own, and all those health issues, poof, they were gone.
No, they weren't.
I've been incarcerated for 8.5 years. I will be released on Thursday.
In December of 2023, Gypsy Rose Blanchard walked out of a Missouri prison after serving less than 10 years for the murder of her mother.
Which is a joke.
And America lost its mind.
Rightfully so.
Curious, like genuinely curious. Her TikTok and social media accounts blew up, millions of followers just within
bots, not followers, Javier.
Days of her release. So yeah, America's sweetheart is also a convicted murderer.
When was she ever America's sweetheart? I would like to correct him again. It's just convicted murderer. When was she ever America's sweetheart? I would like to correct him again. It's just convicted murderer. When was she ever America's sweetheart? I would like to correct him again. It's just convicted murderer. When was she ever America's sweetheart? I would like to correct him again. It's just convicted murderer. End of story. How else would we know who
Because of
she
the
is?
town she lived in, they compared her to, like, they called her a certain kind of sweet little darling or whatever in that town or whatever.
Again, everything I believe Gypsy did in that town, in that area, the cosplays and the conventions, everything was attention seeking, male seeking, you know what I mean? Hooking up with men in bushes somewhere off of every dating site you could find. Who knows? But let's continue.
And depending on who you ask, she's either the most sympathetic person alive or the most dangerous woman on the internet.
Correct. Not just on the internet, in society itself.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's all a lie.
What do you want her?
I remember this video.
The fact that her mom did all that to her and like made her get these surgeries and like all of it was just a defense. But it's all a lie.
And I would like to reiterate, by the way, that Mike Stanfield and Gypsy Rose in the phone calls, and even in an interview, said that the whole Shabuse narrative was a defense, the entire thing. So for her to sit there and be like, yeah, it was, and besides, if you know, they Mike Stanfield at the same time says if they go to trial, she's going away for life. If the Shabuse was true, wouldn't that be a good defense? Why would you be so, so non-confident or not confident in that defense if it were true? If you could go up there and be like, hey, she had to do what she had to do. Look at everything her mom was doing. No, the prosecution had the FOIAs. The prosecution had the medical records. That would have been debunked like every way from Sunday. And Mike Stanfield knew that. That's why he had to make sure he colluded with the media, which I can't believe a judge allowed him to do that. Why he didn't put a gag order on this case is still mind-boggling to me. But let's keep going.
How long do you guys think it'll take for everyone to turn on Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Because you guys love her right
Not
now. Like, that's just like queen.
Have you guys seen all the backlash? You should have kept her locked up.
Correct.
No shit. Y'all were the ones that tried to make her famous for ending her mother's life.
Someone else is going to do something horrible, and their excuse is going to be, well, she got away with it. Well, now look at all the money that she's making off of.
Ash, I just want to come back to you. Your own daughter went with exactly this. You saw Gypsy Rose, not only her own mother, but she thought maybe I could do the same thing. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And who knows how many other,
But
kids.
luckily we got them on the right meds now, and
Good.
they're doing a lot better because they even wrote a letter to this school officer and stuff about how they were thanking them for helping them out when they were struggling through their mental illness stuff, and which seemed like a good thing because it shows improvement than what they were.
I agree. All right, let's see how much more we can get through with this. And so I guess according to this chapter on YouTube, we're going into her medical records. So let's see if it's accurate or if it's just going to toe the whole, oh, she didn't need this, she didn't need that. If he actually read the medical records, then he is either illiterate or he's just lying.
The official story, the one that the media told us, is that Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a survivor, a victim of one of the most extreme cases of medical child abuse this country has ever seen.
No.
Gypsy says that she underwent approximately 30 different medical procedures forced upon her by her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard.
Yet only 4 are on her medical records. And it's like anyone that even has Google somewhat on their phone, half Google if that exists, can find these.
Any disease. Chances are that Dee Dee told a doctor that Gypsy had it. Rare diseases like...
Okay, and even if that were true, they just don't go by mommy's say-so. I was in the medical field myself as a male nurse. They do not go by mommy's say-so. And even if that was the case for something that serious and for them to put, someone under the knife and to get an insurance company to go along with it, and they don't want to cover anything.
Right.
We would be like, okay, that's nice, but mommy's not a physician. We still have to do a biopsy. We still have to do the proper tests. We still have to do labs. You know what I mean? There's a major process that has to go into place before any type of surgery, procedure, treatment, what have you. For them to say that, that this happened not just once, but 30 plus times is astonishing. And again, where's a single lawsuit? It doesn't
Right.
exist because there's no one to sue. Moving on.
Chronic conditions, terminal diagnosis. By the time Gypsy was 8 years old, her mother had checked nearly every box on that list, and the doctors believed it. Because why wouldn't they? She showed up with a bald kid in a wheelchair who couldn't walk, couldn't eat, could barely function without.
All the doctor has to do is take a look at her legs and see they're not atrophied, and he's going to know if that girl can walk or not. And that's what happened in the medical records. One of the doctors put her down as malingering, and once he had Dee Dee leave there and separate them, he told Gypsy to stand up, and she did. So again,
Right.
even though she shaved, and first of all, she did have a bone marrow transplant, which means she at one point or another did have a form of cancer or leukemia. So that's
Yeah.
not some made up story by Dee Dee. That is actually something that she actually did. And besides, also, if that was some PTSD thing that her mom made her go through, she had no problem making her hair short and doing all the wigs thing all over again. Again, you would think, oh, there was two of them. I didn't know that. But, she has bone marrow transplant or transplants in her medical records, that's an indication of some kind of leukemia or some type of cancer. And when she was at that, the thing where she's singing that stupid song, I believe, you listen closely, it's on the GRB toothbrush page. The guy, even though you can hear it through the applause, you can still hear it. He introduces her as a cancer survivor. Survivor, not someone that currently has it. So that means that, and again, someone with Munchausen by proxy,
had to have it.
right? And with someone with Munchausen by proxy is not going to say that they're a survivor. Someone with Munchausen is going to say they still have it and she's still suffering. So again, it's like it seems to me like Dee Dee got her the proper treatment and she survived it. It's just
and
like,
I literally knew a chick that had Munchausen by proxy and how she was doing with her son because her son had spinal bifida, but she was making him worse than what he was.
Right.
And he even attempted to try and walk because he literally tried walking for the first time in front of me, and I was proud of the kid. I practically thought of that kid like my own. And then she took everything away to make sure he couldn't try and walk again.
Yeah, see, that's not the case with Gypsy, especially according to one of the neighbors. Like, she would be playing out in the driveway or whatever, and as soon as Dee Dee showed up, she would just fall herself to the ground and start army crawling towards Dee Dee. And it's not because Dee Dee told her to do it. It's because she confessed this to Nick. She was faking this on Dee Dee because she wanted her mom she was afraid her mom wouldn't love her as much or something like that. It's attention seeking. It wasn't because mommy told her to do it or there'd be some consequences or she'd be chained to a bed. No, she told Nicholas specifically that that the reason that she was malingering the not being able to walk thing is because she wanted certain types of attention out of her mother. So,
right.
And who knows who else? Everybody else too. You know what I mean? The little, pipsqueak girl in a wheelchair. Oh, how cute. You know what I mean? So again, she had a role to play and she played it well, but let's keep going.
Her mother right there. And I've combed through Gypsy's medical records, which were posted publicly by true crime content creators.
Yeah, let's see what you have to say.
Her mother, Dee Dee, claimed that Gypsy had already been through 4 eye surgeries to correct a crossed eye that kept coming back.
I don't think, again, that had to be, that was self-reported by Gypsy. So for him to factually say that Dee Dee reported that is a bunch of nonsense.
A feeding tube inserted directly into her stomach because Dee Dee said that Gypsy couldn't swallow properly.
False, right? He's lying. He has to be lying or illiterate. It says in those medical records that she spent an entire month in an eating clinic, and the doctors in that eating clinic recommended over a long period of weeks and weeks and weeks of different treatments and different methods to do taste testing, swallow testing, drool, every trick, every diagnosis in the book and every type of test in the book had to be adhered to first before they put that feeding tube in. And again, this guy's saying, oh, it was done on mommy's say so. Again, nobody that's even got partial medical training would ever say, yeah, that's a total thing. So this guy is either illiterate or he's straight up lying at this point. And yeah, someone was saying that this is probably going to infuriate me. And so far it's doing just that because this guy either has to be lying or he's just illiterate. It's one of the two. Pick one.
A procedure to remove her saliva glands in her neck because Dee Dee said that Gypsy drooled too much.
She did. And they found this out once again in the eating clinic, not at Mommy Say So. And again, even let's pretend that's true for 2 seconds. Let's play devil's advocate. They would still do the proper testing to make sure that those, certain procedures need to be warranted or done. They're not. First of all, let's pretend a doctor was just going to do that. They would have to write down that diagnosis and the testing that went along with that diagnosis and send it up to insurance to have them cover it. If he just wrote on there, "Mommy said so," insurance would be like, no, go do the proper testing and come on back. That's how it works. Most people,
Dunlap, anyways.
yeah, and again, it's like most people have the opposite problem. They need a surgery and they have to keep resubmitting their diagnosis, getting a second opinion. Sometimes they want a third opinion, or they want you to go to a certain specialist, depending on what kind of, surgery that you need. For them to say that they just handed them out to Dee Dee and Gypsy like candy based on say so is one of the most delusional, ridiculous things I've ever heard. And again, she would be the talk of Congress. Forget lawsuits. She would be a congressional hearing the next day if that happened once, let alone 30 times. So it's just astonishing that people actually hear this and actually think it's true. This is manipulative nonsense, and this guy has to be lying or is completely illiterate, has some brain damage, what have you. But let's keep going. I'm going to try.
In a surgery where surgeons literally wrap part of your stomach around your esophagus to stop acid reflux.
Correct. And they're not going to do that without the proper diagnosis.
The medication list and these same records run over a page. Anti-seizure drugs that she's been on since she was 3 months old.
And again, she would not be on those unless she needed them. She was on them because the doctors do a proper diagnosis.
Yeah, and if she had epilepsy, she would continuously take that medicine.
And sometimes it worsens over the years. And again, I took a look at that med list, and he's probably not educated in the med field anywhere. He probably didn't understand any of the medical literature. I have the medical background. I was an LPN in Wisconsin. So again, it's just like, either he's completely uneducated in this whole thing and can't comprehend any of the medical literature, or he's straight up lying for views. And just towing the mainstream media narrative blindly. But again, it's like none of that is going to happen, especially to a toddler or a newborn, unless there's, again, insurance companies not only have to agree with this diagnosis, but insurance companies have their own physicians that have to align with the original diagnosis.
Right.
And most of the time they send it back to the original doctor. We need a specialist to, give us another confirmation, or we need a second opinion on something. They don't just go like, yep, okay, mommy said so, let's go. It's delusional to think like something that would happen. And again, that not only would that would happen, but no lawsuits would take place anywhere. So again, there's the amount of nonsense that would have to come together to make this true. Again, without any lawsuits, without any backlash onto the medical community anywhere, without any reform, anyone being arrested, this would be a circus in Congress if something like this happened. But again, they go to the mainstream media with this, and there's unfortunately a lot of people that are very uninformed watch mainstream media and believe it. So you have that problem, and I think Mike Stanfield and Gypsy and her cohorts absolutely knew that.
Valium for pain delivered through her feeding tube. Asthma inhalers, steroids, allergy medications. And then there's this one. Someone documented in her allergy list that Gypsy had an anaphylactic reaction to processed sugar. Anaphylactic reaction to processed sugar, as in sugar, the thing that's in basically every food on earth. A life-threatening allergic reaction to sugar is not a real medical condition.
No, it's not.
It doesn't exist. But somehow, it made it into her medical chart because Dee Dee said so.
Or Gypsy said so. How do you know it came from Dee Dee? How do you know? I think Gypsy self-reported a bunch of these lies to her mother, and her mother wanted to believe her. That's what all the evidence points to me, especially when, I hear about Gypsy falling to the floor. And again, a doctor that took her aside after not seeing her legs atrophied at all, wrote down in those medical records that she was maligning and malingering. So that speaks volumes to me.
But he questioned it. And the teeth. By the time Gypsy was a teenager, her teeth had rotted out and had to be removed.
Self-inflicted.
A young girl wearing false teeth, riding around with a shaved head in a wheelchair.
Again, they act like the teeth thing was something. Dee Dee didn't just go in and make her teeth bad. Her teeth were horrendous. It would have been abusive to leave those things in, like I said before.
That's the official story. But an entire community online decided that that was a lie.
We decided it was a lie, or did we look at evidence, FOIAs, documents, diagnoses, medical transcripts? We just decided this off the top of our head. Like, is this what this guy's running with?
Flipped the whole narrative around. Suddenly, it was Gypsy who was the manipulator.
Correct.
Gypsy who fooled the doctors.
Correct.
Gypsy who used her voice, her looks, her tears to con everyone around her, including her mother.
Correct.
Let me tell you, this community is not small. They're very loud.
Yeah, and for a reason. We're loud for a reason.
I've spent the last 3 months trying to figure out which side was telling the truth. And spoiler alert.
And if he wants to figure out which side is telling the truth, he, again, claims he read medical records, and I'm not sure if he read FOIAs, but that's all you would need to find out the truth. It would not even matter what we had to say. But again, this guy is just like, I guess he can't decide for himself. He has to have someone spoon feed it to him.
It's a lot more complicated than either side wants to admit.
It's actually not that complicated, but go on.
You're listening to the Gypsy Rose obsession.
Guys, okay, yeah, it's because we're obsessed with her, don't you know? It's got nothing to do with, seeing Missouri put a dangerous criminal back out on the streets that had her mother murdered in a premeditative, nasty way and using a developmentally disabled man to carry it out. And they just give her a slap on her wrist and give her a reality show and give her all kinds of clout and money off of her crime. No, it's just us being obsessed with her. Don't you know? It's just like, this is the most ridiculous crap I've ever heard.
And this is pretend. Stories about real people pretending to be someone else.
And that would be Gypsy. Mind you, that was just the introduction. And my God, like just that introduction spoke enough. I mean, I couldn't even, I'm hoping, again, I was told that this is absolutely embarrassing and I can see where that's coming from. And this guy's going to probably get the backlash he deserves.
Can you believe it? Summer's almost over, and
advertisement.
Now we have to get ready for fall.
Let's see if we can get past all this crap.
Look a little worn out. Quince is a great place to make an upgrade. They have
Sorry, guys.
Pants. I wear those things everywhere. Shipping and 365-day returns. I was completely oblivious to the outcry against Gypsy Rose Blanchard. To me, I've always considered her a victim of Munchausen by proxy. That poor girl. I can't even imagine what her childhood was like.
It was great.
I didn't agree with her decision.
She practically lived at Magic Kingdom. How horrible.
Deserves to be murdered. But I can't imagine why she resorted to violence.
Royal mashed potatoes and Cinderella's castle.
Yeah.
About her. But boy, was I wrong.
Hello, it's Andrea Dunlop, and today on Nobody Should Believe Me, we have a very special episode that is a full circle moment for me, my conversation with Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
This is Andrea Dunlop, by the way, if you guys know who she is.
Andrea Dunlop released a 2-part interview with Gypsy on her podcast, Nobody Should Believe Me. If you've never listened to Nobody Should Believe Me, go check it out because Andrea has 7 powerful series bringing Munchausen victim stories to light.
I remember a lot of people asking me.
I just want to note really quick that this doesn't even have any, like, here's what the podcast looks like. It's just that. There's no, like, footage or anything. Everything you're hearing, it's a podcast. You're just listening to whatever it is. So this is what it sounds like.
Are you going to interview her? Like, why hasn't she been on your show?
Honestly, I couldn't believe that it took 7 seasons for Andrea to interview Gypsy. Because Gypsy Rose
Is it on YouTube?
By proxy on the map. I didn't even know Munchausen by proxy was a thing until I heard about Gypsy's case.
Gypsy's case has brought a lot of awareness. I think that she is actually a very articulate representative of it and is very thoughtful in the way that she sort of explains it and explains her healing process and the after effects.
Oh, Christ.
When people think about medical child abuse, they think of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She's the poster child.
A poster child of someone mocking that condition, not having it. Just want to correct that.
This should not be on Gypsy's shoulder. She is a person. We should not put the onus on one person to be a representative or an advocate for a form of abuse just because they've experienced it.
You know, I was curious about Andrea's interview with Gypsy, so I listened. And then I started reading the comments, and oh boy, I cannot believe the backlash.
And rightfully so.
Let me read some of these comments to you.
Yeah, read them.
Are you kidding me? You call yourself an advocate, but decide to bring a murderer on your podcast? I can't sit by as we make martyrs out of murderers. As
Good
a longtime
comment.
listener, I'm extremely disappointed by the lack of real research on Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Very good comment.
Andrea, all your credibility has done shot out the window. You just ruined your career by not doing your research.
Correct.
She lied about everything.
Whoever left those comments, good job. Because not that it did anything, not that it actually got them to do actual research, but at least someone called them out.
Hundreds of comments just like this.
For a
This
reason.
was my first exposure
For a reason.
to the anti-gypsy community. So I started going down that rabbit hole. What research were these people talking about? Well,
Oh, I don't know. What research is there? Court documents and FOIA records, her own words and jail phone calls, her own contradictions from every single interview that she's ever been in, her own medical record. I mean, there's research up the wazoo that's documented. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, what do they have? Well, the act, and Gypsy said so.
were Andrea and I missing from this conversation? And
Your
before I
brain
knew
cells?
it,
That's what you're
I
missing.
found myself in the deep end.
Every single thing you've ever heard out of their mouths about this is a lie. Okay, so for all these years, we've been told this story of just massive abuse. She didn't need any of the things that were done to her.
Yes, she did.
Long-lasting effects, all of that, correct? Right. That's a lie. That's all a lie.
Suddenly I started seeing some questionable things online and asking myself the same questions. Inconsistencies in her stories, home videos that nobody was supposed to see.
Yep.
A version of Gypsy Rose Blanchard that looked nothing like the girl that I thought I knew.
That's because
It was
that's
enough
not
for
the
me
correct
to
person.
pump the brakes. Did we all get the Gypsy story wrong?
Yes.
Was everything I knew about this case a lie?
Yes.
So I had to go straight to the source, Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Oh, God. Okay, so he's sitting there doing some research. He's hearing, getting overwhelming backlash. He's seeing her own words, listening to her own words, watching her own contradictions, reading her own medical records, going through the FOIAs, going through the jail call. So, and then he's just like, well, let's go see what the liar herself has to say about this. Really? You have documentation sitting right in front of you and you need to go talk to the person that's sitting there caught in every lie from left to right, front to back. Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Gypsy and I exchanged a few emails, and within a few hours, I'm not kidding, we were on a call. I was unprepared for this conversation, and it took place very early on in my...
So there's your problem. Why did you contact Gypsy Rose when you weren't very well versed with her case? You should have done that first and then contacted her.
research. I have to be honest, I thought she was lovely. All I know...
Okay, just because someone can act lovely does not mean their stories are true, doesn't debunk their lies, and doesn't make them any less of a schmurderer. I'm pretty sure a lot of schmurderers were fun to have a drink with, or you could kick it with them or something like that. And Gypsy Rose kind of, adapts. She's kind of like a chameleon. She adapts to different environments. She tells people what they want to hear. She knows how to read people and essentially, be able to pull out what manipulation tactics that she needs to elicit, the response or the narrative, or to try to make herself believable in whatever narrative she's trying to conjure up, whether it's something she pre-thought or whether it's something she's pulling out of thin air right there. But anyways, let's go on.
About you is the HBO doc, right? And so I was like, I had no idea that there was this other world.
It's
like you're
insane.
living in it, but I had no idea.
Oh, it's insane. It's called the Gyp verse.
Oh, like the verse, like the Marvel
Yeah,
verse.
Yes, like the Marvel verse. So it's two communities, and one is pro gypsy and one is anti gypsy.
Which one's louder?
Anti-Gypsy?
I would say that the anti-gypsy side is probably the loudest, and I think that
And
goes
for a reason.
for any sort of hater community.
Haters.
So a lot of times, if someone posts a video in support or just having a neutral opinion, you can't even have a neutral opinion about me because you will get death threats.
You're walking into the crosshairs.
Yeah.
First of all, there's not many neutral opinions. The ones that get the most backlash are the ones that toe the exact narrative that he was just talking about. She was the victim of this, she was the victim of that. Her mom did this, her mom did that, and it's just like, your source? Well, I saw it on the act. Gypsy said so. Again, here we go with this crap. Let's see if we can get through this.
Yes, you're walking into literally a war zone between these two communities.
And without even knowing it, right?
Without even knowing it.
Because like if you're a pro, if you're in the
Listen to how gleeful Gypsy sounds. It sounds like, like all this chaos that's, going between the Gypverse or whatever and, the anti and the pro side. It's just like you can see her, you can hear like she's very gleeful that she's the cause to all of this basically. And, she, a true sociopath and someone with, unaliving traits would usually relish in something like that.
Right. She loves the drama.
Right. Everything's about the drama. It's the same thing that we heard in the phone calls when it was like, the whole like love triangle thing between her, Ken, and Ryan. It's just like she absolutely loved the fact. And even when on the show at one point, she was smiling ear to ear when it was just like, when the whole thing was going down between Ken and the breakup with Ryan and everything. And someone called out. So it's like, basically, you're just like the center of this whole like circus. And she goes, I know. It's like she just took such glee in stuff like this, and it's just like, my God, it's pathetic.
You're sympathetic to like the abuse that you face and all that stuff, and like it would never even cross your mind that there's this other universe that will just pounce on you.
Right.
Again, I love how he says that we're just coming in to pounce on her. No. FOIAs have been released. Medical records have been released. Jail phone calls have been released. Her own contradictory statements have been released. I mean, what about, you think we just came out of nowhere for no reason? No, we've came out for many reasons, and the reasons keep piling and snowballing. Again, it's just like haters just want to be haters. Everyone's jealous. Same crap like this. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that this guy's just buying the BS, or he's just posting this for rage bait, or it's just for the clicks, or he's uninformed and willfully ignorant. It's got to be one of them.
The internet did what the internet does.
Sure.
Her nose was too big.
Well, it was.
Gypsy Rose been spotted for the first time since her nose job. And it turns out she didn't just get a nose job.
And her teeth, the same teeth that her mother had yanked out when she was a kid.
Oh, yanked out? Her mother yanked him out? Did she reach in her mouth and do it? Or did, well-versed and well-trained dentists look at those teeth and be like, yeah, those things are decaying. They look terrible. They're completely out of alignment. Leaving those in would have drastic consequences. But sure, yeah, Dee Dee ripped them out herself.
Became content, too.
I'm going to Children's Mercy Hospital to see my dentist for my teeth.
She can't even post pictures with her in a swimsuit without getting comments.
Gypsy Rose is up early around 6:30 a.m. this morning, posting herself in a two-piece bikini.
Content creators mocked her voice.
Hey, babe, can you do your Gypsy Rose impression for me?
D is fire! To kiss the frog, to meet the prince. I'm on high right now. You can't bring me down.
These are good impressions.
Right now, he's eating a brownie. And later, he will be eating me.
And by the way, I'll always say, like, somebody that commits that murder and they're immediately in a hotel room eating brownies before something gets eaten on them doesn't exactly show indication of a abused girl. That sounds like someone that's celebrating and is relishing in the depravity that they themselves have caused.
In fact, people impersonating her became a trend on TikTok.
Can't bring me down. I'm on a high right now. I'm living my best life, and y'all can't take that from me.
I was wearing a wig, and a lot of my videos.
Manny wigs.
Last year and the year before that, like, I bleached my hair so much because I was so.
Yeah, she bleached her hair so much because, you know, she knew Ken wanted that blonde bimbo look, and she was determined and hell-bent to make sure that she could emulate that. You know, a woman she's never met. But when she was on a jail phone call with Ken, she's like, what does she do for work? Where does she live? It's just like, oh, please don't give that information out. Because God knows we wouldn't want something to happen to her. You know, she's been jealous over a woman she's never even seen or met for who knows how long.
Decided to try new things with my hair that I didn't, realize that bleaching and bleaching and bleaching was going to fry it as bad as it was.
Yep, and that's how much you were determined to make sure that you were Ken's blonde bimbo. You were bleaching your hair basically until it all fell out on its own. She was about to look pretty skeleton-like with that frizzy thing that she was doing at the time. And she even went to that one place, I forget the place where she had to have licensing to actually get the products out of there. And yeah, and that whole story of like, oh, they just let me ring out anyways. I don't buy that for 2 seconds. She conned her way into there and got the product she wanted and left. And she could have gotten exposed to her kid. She could have botched it herself, which she did. She could have those are like really strong chemicals you need licensing for. And she's like, meh, who cares?
So unfortunately, my hair was down to almost to my butt when I got out of prison, and I had to shave it all off. And, the anti-side was like, well, wouldn't that be a trigger for you?
Yeah, wouldn't it be?
And the logical side of me is, of course, wanting to defend myself and being like, do you want to walk around with fried hair? It's kind of a necessity. So.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question. You again, it's like you still didn't answer the question on whether that would be a trigger or not, but I guess hair color was more important than your PTSD or supposed triggers? No, there was no PTSD or triggers. That's the truth.
I used a wig for a couple of months, and I'm just starting to kind of be okay with this being my authentic self.
For those of you listening on the podcast feed, Gypsy is sporting a pixie cut. More mature,
Yeah.
A pixie cut. Is that supposed to be like something that she's trying to hint at Ryan about something? Consider he has a dog named Pixie? I don't know. Tinfoil hat moment.
How old are you now? I know you're not supposed to ask a woman.
I'm going to be 35.
Okay.
I'm getting old.
You're not supposed to ask a woman that, but I was curious. A lot has changed since being released from prison 2 years ago. She's been married, then she got divorced, and now she's a mother. She has this...
I want to correct that. She got married to a guy that she wasn't in love with, so she would look good on paper to get out on early release so she could rekindle with the guy that she actually was obsessed with, so she could baby trap him as soon as possible. Fixed it for you!
Whole new life. And her only career, really, is being Gypsy Rose.
Is that a career? Just being Gypsy Rose? And even if it was, that wouldn't be a good career. I mean, I don't know. You have to turn the earth sideways and upside down to get on board with any of this, or even try to remotely understand where this is coming from. I mean, this is just, once again, just a circus. And this guy's hopped right on board to drive the front of the train. He is the conductor.
One of the main criticisms against her is that she figured out a way to monetize and profit off of her mother's murder.
And that is the crux of the problem. And that's why people on the haters' side have such a big problem. And that's why we are pushing, at least I'm pushing, and I encourage everybody else to look into Dom and Davion's law. That's Mackenzie Sharilla's victim / ex-boyfriend's sister, Christine Russo. She's trying to push for basically the modernized Son of Sam law, where not Mackenzie, not Gypsy, not anybody can just, commit a heinous crime and, you get your own reality show, you get hundreds of thousands of dollars in documentaries, you get a Hollywood movie. It's just only what other country or what other civilization would do something like this? I mean, wow.
She has a Cameo account, a book deal, multiple TV shows. Gypsy is everywhere. And if you ask the internet, they will tell you that Gypsy is rich. It's so much easier.
Well, she never got to afford a house. She never got a BMW. All that stuff she said she was going to get after she got out of jail. She went and blew it on, all the cosmetic procedures. Funny how she wants all the unnecessary surgeries now, as long as they're ones that she she wants. And then, on top of that, I think her and Ken kind of blew through that money on other stuff.
To just hide and make it go away. You know what I mean? Do you ever think about that?
I've tried, and I've tried getting offline, deleting my social media.
You've tried.
When I came out of prison, I gained millions of followers on my TikTok and Instagram.
Bots.
Well, in the process of me, going through my parole time, there was just so much harassment on my parole officer that he said, it
probably because your parole officer wasn't doing his job. Just a hunch.
It'd be best to, maybe get off of social media. So I deleted my Instagram with like 9 million followers.
Again, well, first of all, she's never had 9 million followers on Instagram. She's probably talking about TikTok. She's had 1 million on Instagram, and she limits the comments on there and who can comment and how. And then also, again, she does not delete this. She keeps saying, I deleted TikTok. No, she deactivated it temporarily and brought it back before, the time limit where it goes bye-bye completely. And there's even times where she's even tried to make claims where she's like, oh, it's going bye-bye forever. She tried gifting it to Bree, rebranding it as an art page. Like, she's tried everything under the sun to try to make sure that she doesn't get rid of this page altogether, and she never will. She never will. And we both know that. All of us know that because it's Gypsy Rose. She wants to stay relevant as much as she can, stay in the spotlight as much as she can. And yeah, we talk about her, but it's mostly we're talking about the injustices in the system that allowed someone like Gypsy Rose to be walking the streets in the first place. And we don't want to see this happen again because as far as I see, this is a very dangerous, societal experiment we're doing. And if anything happens, the blood's going right on Missouri's hands. So we're watching.
So I made a new Instagram, quickly gained a lot of followers on that.
Thank you, Sadie.
Approaching 1 million now, and I still maintain my 9.3 mil on TikTok. And
listen to her go through all the numbers like this and that and this and that. I got 9 million here, I got 1 million there, and I'm still going through all that. It's just again, she's just sitting there I don't care for the fame. I don't like that word. Meanwhile, she's got no problems and jumps right into the opportunity to make sure that she can tout those numbers as far and wide as she possibly can. Funny how that works. She just can't help herself.
I have a love-hate relationship with this account.
What love-hate relationship? What, most people come in there try to tell the truth and you get triggered?
Deactivate it and reactivate it. At this point,
there you go. Deactivate it and reactivate it. So for her to say I deleted it, I deleted this. No, if you keep bringing it back and it keeps reappearing under the exact same numbers in the exact same account, you're not deleting anything. You're just deactivating it temporarily. So once again, she just contradicted herself right there.
Followers just know it's part of my behavior. But when at a time where I was not on social media for a month.
It turns out that deleting
she wasn't on social media for a month. Whoa, that's a long vacation, guys. My God, that's an eternity. Well, for her, it probably is.
Doesn't really make you anonymous when your face has been on every screen in America. You have a very distinctive voice.
Oh, here we go with this part. We've already heard this.
Do you ever get spotted?
This is the part where she brags about 10-year-olds and little children approaching her in public, like that's some kind of flex. And again, listen to her tone of voice. She's proud of this. And that's just got P3DO vibes all over it.
How do you deal with that?
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, nobody in person has ever came up to me or my family and been mean in any type of way.
And I call BS on that. I guarantee people have seen her in public. I think there's even footage of it where people are basically shouting at her that she's a murderer. I think she had to have people even outside of her book signing because there were people specifically there to call her out. So once again, she's just lying. She's just lying through this.
In fact, it's the opposite reaction. It's oh my God, there's
look at that. She's just oh my God, there she is. She really, really fancies herself as some celebrity that just everyone recognizes everywhere she goes. She's got paparazzi all over her. Again, but if you ask her why are you famous, Gypsy, or why are you known for, why are you known around social media? How'd you get your infamy? It's only one reason. It's not because she's an actress. It's not because she's a musician. It's not because she's good at anything. It's because she's a schmurderer. And that's it. And she hates that. But I love it for her. I love this for her.
And what's crazy is, and I don't understand it, but a lot of my fans are
fans.
95% is women, 5% are male, and that's even from analytics from my socials. But it like teens, some as even young as 10 will stop me at the mall or the grocery store, and I'm kind of like, are you old enough to?
So she's sitting there bragging and admitting right out in the open that little children are approaching her because, and they know her for being a schmurderer.
Yeah, because they only know her on here instead of knowing that she's a schmurderer.
But again, it's just like, did you hear the tone of voice? First of all, teens are not 10. That's right. 10-year-olds are 10-year-olds. Teens are 13 through 19. So just a crash course on what teenagers are, Gypsy. But, it's just like, still, for someone to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, hi, I'm a schmurderer, and 10-year-olds approach me. That's pretty amazing and brazen to just be coming out and saying something like that. That's disgusting. I'm having whiplash watching this, but let's get through it. We're over halfway through. We have 17 minutes left, so let's go.
What is your parents letting you watch?
But isn't that kind of weird though? Like that you have.
Yes,
like,
it is weird.
Fact that you have fans.
It's putting it lightly.
Kind of weird. What are they a fan of? I'm just saying, like.
Very good question. What are they a fan of? Oh, you're my favorite schmurderer, says a 10-year-old. Yeah.
I'm very surprised that he was able to ask her these questions. I'm shocked she didn't shoot them down or whatever.
No, in fact, she tries to actually be humble about this. She's like, I don't understand it either, but she had no problem bragging about it. So again, it's just like everything that she says flies in the face of hypocrisy, or it contradicts itself immediately. So let's keep going.
You're not a performer, you know what I mean? Like you're not a singer. Right?
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm not anything. I get it. It's like, again, she's trying to agree with this to sound humble, but we all know, especially hearing from those jail calls, that she was relishing in all the money and influence and everything else that she was having. So, don't listen to this nonsense that, oh, I'm so humble. I don't get it either. Yeah, I completely agree. Again, that's just like her using more manipulation tactics to really seem like she's this humble being when she's anything but.
Right, trying to be famous like Casey Anthony.
Right, but at least Casey, I mean, I give no credit to Casey Anthony, but, she at least knew and was smart enough to keep a low profile.
Right. I only said that because of what she said in one of her calls.
Right, so again, I'm hoping that Dom and Davion's law could be passed so another Gypsy Rose can't come out of prison after committing a heinous crime and be able to get hundreds of thousands of dollars and being rewarded for one of the most heinous things that's ever, been in the schmurder world and in true crime. So again, her mother was schmurdered while she was sleeping. So it's just like for people, between the collusion of the courts, the justice system, the prosecutors, Mike Stanfield, and everything in between that had to, bring all the stars to align to make this happen. Those are the people that need to be held accountable the most. And I think, the perpetrators of the mainstream media are the ones that are going to have to undo something like this. So, we're never going to shut up until something like that happens. So I'm going to keep it going on my end. And I'm hoping more people continue to do so. Don't let them, again, that's why I think one reason she got off of social media this time was she was trying to just go out and mass report everybody because, again, it's just like we're out there exposing exactly what we see. And that triggers her. She don't want the truth out there about her. She just wants people to keep blindly believing the stuff she says and, don't do any research. Just ignore all that. That's just a bunch of haters. But anyway, so let's keep going.
Self too. I mean, I've always kind of just been appreciative that they've been nice, but even I don't really understand it.
So she's appreciative that a bunch of 10-year-olds were nice to her. Wow. Okay, P3DO.
Because, yes, I can understand, watching my story and feeling, a compassion, but a
compassion for the victim, like Dee Dee being slaughtered in her sleep? Is that the compassion that you're talking about?
Fandom, I don't get, and maybe it's a social media thing. Oh my goodness, this girl has almost 10 million million followers.
Again, listen to her just brag about herself. It's like, oh my God. It's like people are probably looking at me and just like, oh, look at the following she has. It's like she just cannot help herself. It's like at one end, she's sitting there trying to act like, oh, look how humble I am. But on on the other end, it's just like, oh, people are probably looking at my profile and be like, look at that huge following she has. And oh my God, I recognize her. There she is. Oh my God, I can't believe I see her. It's like she just loves bragging about herself and loves the fact that she's made blood money and infamy off this whole thing. And it's just like, this is, she's proud of this. This is not something that she quotes doesn't understand. Like she says, she understands it perfectly. Otherwise, why brag about it like to this extent?
I don't know. I don't.
I think
You
the
don't
answer
know.
is a lot simpler. It's just this parasocial relationship, right? You don't know them, but they know you, and maybe they are sympathetic to your story. And so it's like
only uninformed
you're
people
famous.
or young
You know
little
what I mean?
kids.
Like, and so
Infamous, I guess, because
or
I
infamous.
never call myself famous.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
We heard the jail calls. She literally bragged about being famous and how much money she's making, the BMW or whatever, the Mercedes Benz, and I'm going to be rich, and I'm going to have my home, and I'm going to have a house, a mansion, whatever else. It's like, what do you mean she hates the word famous? All she bragged about was the fame she was getting while she was, is still in prison. And you think, if anyone thinks that behavior's changed, all she's done is shown the same patterns, like 10 million times over.
Call myself a celebrity. I call myself like well known. If I'm addressing it, I'll say I am well known in the public eye, because
You're well known for being a schmurderer. That's more accurate.
that's the facts of it. You get
No.
the recognition, you get media coverage, you have the following. What is that? You know what I'm saying? You're well known in the public, and with that comes a lot of responsibilities and burdens too.
After the break, anti-Gypsy protesters take to the streets of New Orleans.
Good.
And blast Gypsy and her child.
I'm assuming that's going to be the whole billboard thing that was going on at the time, and I absolutely love that. And she deserved it. And again, like she says that no one's ever come out in the public and said anything negative about her, but meanwhile, he's about to show a huge example of literally protesters outside of her book signing. So for her to sit there and see like, oh, no one's ever said anything mean in public, and meanwhile, once again, it's going to contradict itself right away.
It's after the break.
How much longer is it? We got about 15 minutes.
Can you believe it? Summer's almost over.
Sorry.
And now we have to get ready for...
Of course, they have to have sponsors, and I'm sure Gypsy gets a cut of that.
But I could also wear it with a t-shirt. So upgrade your everyday. Go to quince.com/pretendpod for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and /pretendpod.
The Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu.
Sorry.
Fundraisers, GoFundMe, to put up billboard signs in my
And it was great.
neighborhood,
And it was
in the
glorious.
city that I lived.
It was not in her neighborhood. It was in the French Quarter, which is a very downtown, vicinity. So this wasn't in her neighborhood. It was just in the city that's near where she lives.
Here's a clip of an anti-Gypsy activist putting up wanted-style posters around town.
If you dislike schmurderers, send Tammy a gift. If you are here for some street justice, since the criminal justice system failed us, send Tammy some gifts.
And even after I got off of parole, the day that I got off of parole, I wanted to celebrate with some friends of mine. So we were like, we're going to go to New Orleans, we're going to have a drink, we're going to have a good time. So the anti-side was busy for 2 days straight putting up flyers at all the bars.
Good.
Murderers in town, warning.
Good work.
This is pathetic.
I remember this crash out. It was glorious. I did a video on it.
You guys, because I had a great time in New Orleans.
I'm sure you did, Gypsy.
And then me and my friends are driving. We come across a mobile billboard.
And it was
And
great.
they have a picture of me and my daughter. And
First of all, the picture of her and her daughter is the one that is when she's in the hospital bed and you could barely see the baby's back of her head because she's got her in a blanket. And it's a picture that Gypsy herself released. But now she's going to complain.
my partner from when my daughter was born. And I flipped out.
I'm sure he did. It's funny because she's sitting there like, you listen to Bree. She's like, Gypsy don't give it up. Gypsy don't give it up. But you just heard her like, I flipped out. Again, these people cannot stop contradicting themselves. It's like, contradictions is like in their bloodstream. Minor child. It's an infant. It's a picture you put out, Gypsy. And secondly, under her, I guess, narrative, I guess every Huggies commercial and every Pampers billboard is child exploitation. Is that what she's trying to say? I don't know. Gypsy logic.
Minor child.
It's an infant in the hospital that's covered up in a blanket.
Looked at it, I should have just let it be.
You should have just let it be, but you just couldn't help yourself, Gypsy. You had to crash out in public anyway, and we loved it.
Instead, I got out of the car and I went on live stream and
Yes,
I was flipping the haters off and just reacting to it. I'm like, this is my minor child. Like, my minor child should not be up on a billboard.
Again, the baby was in a blanket. You couldn't even see the back of her head. So she's just trying to make it seem like it's oh my God, it's child exploitation because a mother and her baby were in a photo that she herself put out. Amazing.
Especially when I'm not plastering her on social media.
It was a picture she put out. Again. It's just like she just can't stop lying.
Gypsy Rose's baby's face has now been revealed. And I probably really shouldn't because it's a baby, but everybody's going to...
Again, more lies. There was no face shown. The baby just came out of the womb and was in a blink. Again, I don't need to keep repeating that.
see it anyway because it's out there. So here's the picture.
Well, it feels like crossing the line, right? Like it's one thing to have issues with you and you've chosen to be public and
it's crossing the line to put out a picture that Gypsy herself put out? Is this what this guy's saying?
whatever, blah blah blah, but to bring a kid, I just felt like now you're crossing a line. Gypsy told me that she doesn't have a safe space. Not even her home.
Oh, you poor thing.
Every single residence since I've been out of prison has been doxxed on the internet. There's currently a video of my house where somebody drove by my house and recorded it, and it's like, this is where they live. I'm an average person.
That girl's good friends with her now.
Yeah, I don't remember that whole thing. I mean, I don't agree with doxing in any shape or form. But again, she's just trying to play as much victimhood in this as possible. But I thought no one was mean to her in public. Didn't you just hear 5 minutes ago saying, thankfully, no one's ever been mean to me in public? And meanwhile, she's talking about how much hatred people have shown her in public. It's funny how she contradicts herself literally in the same 5 minutes. She still just can't help herself.
The grocery store when back home and not think two things about it. Obviously, someone must have followed me to know the street.
Right. That's so scary.
I'll take things that didn't happen for 1,000, Alex.
And not in a good way. Her critics say that Gypsy didn't serve enough time.
Correct.
That she got away with murder.
She did.
While the man who actually did the stabbing, Nick Godejohn, is sitting in a Missouri prison serving life without parole.
Right.
His appeals so far have been unsuccessful. Barring some kind of miracle, Nick will die in prison.
And Gypsy should have been there right alongside him.
They're living her life. To a lot of people, that math does not add up.
No, it doesn't.
I have to say, I'm fascinated by Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She's one of the most complicated people I've ever reported on. But I'm not interested in doing another story about a fandom gone wrong. What caught my attention was the evidence, the videos, text messages, documents that have surfaced since the HBO documentary.
And let's see what he has to say about them.
They paint a very different picture of Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Fuck you!
Blanket video.
Go back to your bimbo blonde whore!
She'll never get over the bimbo blonde.
It is your sexy slave, Demona.
Demona is making an appearance.
Torture. I could kill, just not those people.
Gypsy Rose
She
talking
sure can.
about how she plans to SA her own daughter when she turns 13.
If we have a girl, the way it has to be is if we have a girl, she has to lose her virginity to you because you are the master of the household.
And he heard that with his own 2 ears.
Let me give you some context. These clips were recorded years ago before Gypsy ever had a daughter.
So
what you're hearing is a role play game that Gypsy and Nick Godejohn played on.
Role play or no role play, if you come up with some kind of narrative like that or ideation like that, I don't care if you're pretending, I don't care if you have some role play scenario in it. It's just like, that's disgusting that you would even think up something like that and even joking of that. I'm watching it on YouTube on my TV. So let's keep going.
It's disturbing.
Oh yeah, and absolutely again, but he's just like, oh well, that was just so like 10 years ago, and it was just like a role playing game. It's again, it's like this downplaying is a bunch of nonsense.
Right. In this game, Gypsy played a character named Demona, a vampire slave, and Nick played her master. And in that fictional world, they said some very dark things, violent things,
you mean she
sexual things that ripped out of context and posted on TikTok sound like a confession.
Again, there's no context that you could ever come up with that says this is okay. This guy's really reaching to be like, well, yeah, what you just heard, even though it's got to do with essaying your own 13-year-old flesh and blood, you know, you got not only P3DO action, you also got Schmincest as well. He's just like, well, you know, that's okay as long as, you know, they were just pretending in some game, you know, it's okay. Again, this is pathetic. This is disgusting.
Text, they raise a whole different set of questions about the dynamics between Gypsy and Nick. And who's really in control of that relationship? That's the conversation we are going to have. In detail.
Not much of a conversation to have. Gypsy was running that train.
I can't do this series without Gypsy. She's talked about her story plenty, but as far as I know,
told different stories depending on who she's talking to.
The Demona videos, the home videos, the text messages, none of it. At least not in front of a reporter until now.
She's been in front of many reporters.
I haven't even started. Like, once I dive into the hellish waters of your haters, like, how comfortable are you with uncomfortable questions and stuff like that?
I'm pretty open. Everybody has always known that I'm a pretty open book.
Remember,
yeah, we know.
To my pre-interview with Gypsy. It's just a get-to-know-you session to see if she was even interested. So if we were to do this, because like you said, I think maybe the story is that the people that know you, like in the Gypsyverse, they know about this, and then obviously the haters know about you as well, if not more, because they won't let it go, right? Like this has been years and years and years, and it seems like every time you make some sort of public opinion or video or appearance, they jump on it. But like the outside world has no idea. So like I really do think that that's the story. Your whole childhood was robbed from you, and then now all of a sudden you're an adult and you have to figure.
Your whole childhood was robbed from you again. And he says he's gone through FOIAs. He's looked at medical records. He's looked at videos. He's heard her own words and stuff that she said to Nick. And again, he still comes to this conclusion. Again, it's got to be either he's lying or he just has comprehension problems. Either way, it's just, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Who is Gypsy Rose Blanchard? You know what I mean? And do you know who you are at this point?
I'm learning. I'm learning a lot as.
Okay, so this is another thing with Gypsy. She's just like, I'm a whole different person, and I'm becoming the woman. You know how many times she's like said, I'm blossoming to the woman I've always should have been. You know what I mean? You know how many times she said this, like even in prison, all the way till she's gotten out. But apparently, even now, she still doesn't know who she is, and she's like, what, her mid-30s?
Right.
I mean, when is it gonna actually? When you can actually know who yourself is? Probably because she doesn't even know who she is, because she has to keep. When you have that many lies and that many wigs and that many personas and that many personalities, it's like, yeah, she probably doesn't know who she is, but at the same time, she thinks she's fit for motherhood. Yeah,
right.
Make that make sense.
She knows who she is. She's a chameleon.
Yeah, and on one hand, it's just like. Like Ken or her whole posse will say like, oh, she's a changed woman. She's completely different. She's a whole person now. She's great for motherhood. She's rehabilitated rehabilitated. She's great. She's, just accept her and embrace her and praise her. But at the same time, she's like, well, no, she's going to make all these mistakes. And yeah, she's going to do all these stupid, like monumentally stupid things because, childhood was ripped away from her. It's like, so on one hand, she's this changed woman that's become so beautiful and so perfect that she could take on motherhood, no problem. But at the same time, no, actually, she had everything robbed from her. So she's going to go out and do every stupid thing in the book now. And, it's just like because you didn't get to do it before. It's like there's plenty of things where you can, you don't have to participate in stupid stuff just because you didn't get to do it when you were younger. When you're older and wiser, and you don't. And plus, you know what? She just admitted in one of those FOIAs, especially, that she had to apologize to her mom for taking naked pictures when she was 15, and who knows how many older scrubby men she was sending those to.
And
So
she
again,
also sent them to her dad.
yeah, pimp juice. Who calls their own father that?
Right? That's disgusting.
What
It's
is
like
that?
they have a weird relationship.
And he calls her boo.
Yeah.
Like dutifully, like how like partners do. I'm like affectionately. It's not like if she was like 3 years old or something, it's like, oh hey boo, hey princess. But this is a 30-something-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Why would you be calling that person boo? It's like that's a little.
Disturbing.
That's very disturbing. And then at the same time, you have Gypsy calling her dad pimp juice. It's just like, yeah. Again, I don't want to know anything more about that, and I don't need a visual. I don't even want to think about it. But how much do we have left? We got about 6-7 minutes left. Not even.
As with every new experience, because I think that that's how we grow. It's just like experiencing things. So I think
You've
that
had plenty
I've
of experience,
gotten
Gypsy.
to where I'm comfortable. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, going back to like the uncomfortable questions and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's anything that
I could find that you haven't seen
exactly.
Yeah,
I've had some tough ones come at me.
That's what I figured. But I was thinking, if you're up for it, I'm willing to like travel down there for a weekend, maybe like hang out for like a day and do the interview.
He just wants to befriend her and be BF. Oh wow. All right, so this is not like a guy trying to like, have some kind of like down the middle type journalism. He's trying to befriend her and go down and hang out with her. It's just like, who's going to take this seriously? This is activism. Right. This is not any type of journalism. It's like who befriends the person that they're interviewing and makes plans to go hang out with them. This is ridiculous. And this guy
person that also supports that Dunlap woman because he works for her.
Oh, okay.
And she's the one that
I'm sure he was given a preconceived notion of how he was supposed to, administer this so-called interview. But once again, this is just going to toe Gypsy's, debunk narratives over and over. And, he'll get the proper backlash because, it's well-deserved. But let's keep going. It's almost over.
Next time on Pretend, I fly to Louisiana to meet Gypsy Rose Blanchard in person. I sat with her for almost 3 hours, and she answered every single question I threw at her.
Yeah, I'm sure you told her the questions in advance.
I don't know how many episodes yet, but get ready because I conducted dozens of interviews, and we are also going to cover a recent discovery about Gypsy's health that puts everything in question. That's next time on Pretend.
Okay, so that's part one. It's called the Gypsy Rose Obsession Part 1. I'm assuming he's going to be putting this out on, I think, 3 or 4 segments. So far, unless he somehow redeems himself in some, subsequent installment, I am pretty, this is disgusting. The fact that not only he said he read the FOIAs and, read the medical records and, did supposedly deep dive into this whole situation, he's still going to sit there and downplay this entire situation, essentially blame it on Nick, and, just let her babble away about how wonderful she is and how big her following is and how 10-year-olds come up to her. And this is just pure disgust and pure cringe. Again, it's just like, I think this guy is either doing this for rage bait, just for the clicks, or, he's just like so inept and so out of touch and can't comprehend, basic literature that's in, documented FOIA documents and medical records, that he's either just lying and he knows it, or he's just, very illiterate.
Right. There's 3 episodes out already anyways, because it's out on Apple and Patreon too.
Oh, so there's part 2 and 3 already available?
Yeah, but you got to pay for them.
Of course. Well, I'm
Right.
not doing that. I'll wait till they come out on
Right.
on YouTube for free. I will not give this man any type of monetization. Which again, it's just like he's basically getting paid for Dee Dee's death by proxy. There's those two words that Gypsy loves so much. By proxy. Oh boy, I feel like I have whiplash. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I fell out of like a 10-story building having to hear this. And yeah, I don't have too many words. I am kind of just I wasn't really expecting anything else. I had somewhat hope, like looking at the guy's podcast saying that he interviews con artists. So
Yeah.
who's the con artist that he's interviewing?
Right.
If these
I was
narratives-
wondering that too, but I know Mimi said that he used her voice. I'm trying to get up to the comments and look. Did you guys get to see the part where he used my voice? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, that was something. And like I said, I'm probably gonna do more of the jail phone calls too. Like the one I did yesterday was definitely the one I wanted to hear the most in full. Was the one where it's like from A to B, they have the call again. Like it was really revealing that Gypsy said like it's like to Ryan that's like, oh, I talked to Ken a few weeks ago just for closure. Meanwhile, like Gypsy admitted that she's been trying to call him like every day for weeks, like relentlessly. So like while she's talking to Ryan, like everything's perfectly okay, and yeah, let's go ahead with our marriage. She is hell bent on getting a hold of Ken. She had to get a hold of someone else to text Ken to tell him to pick up the phone, basically. And again, that just goes to show who Gypsy is. She cannot have the writing on the wall and adhere to it. It's like, she has to force herself into someone's life. It's like, it's, if someone sent me the message that they don't want to talk to me or, they just don't answer the phone for whatever reason. And it's like, I'm not going to sit there and just keep hounding them day after day after day after day after day. And, and try to like, insert myself into their life unwanted. But, Gypsy has no problem doing that. None.
He was on Sir Morbid's this morning.
Oh, interesting. Well, again, Sir Morbid likes to change sides when it suits him. Again, I think he does everything for clout and for clicks, and that is what it is. And I'm sure that whole side of the aisle is just in love with Morbid at this point. As soon as someone flips over to the other side, it's just like they embrace him right away. They make him out to be this wonderful person. It's just like even if they don't even know them, and then if they switch back to the correct side or there's something that pushes them over the edge, oh, he's this. It's just like it's very selective. It's just a fake bunch of people. But anyways, I'm gonna get going, you guys. I had a nice time doing this with you guys. Obviously, I'm a little bit I feel like I have whiplash from having to listen to this monstrosity. But I'm not gonna pay for the other episodes. I'm gonna wait till they come out on YouTube, and I'm gonna grab it for free. So yeah, in the meantime, if there's anything else you guys want me to cover, you guys can leave it in my comment sections. I'm gonna get going in the meantime, and you guys have a great rest of your day, afternoon.
Have a good day too.
And you guys take it easy, all right?